On the tee from Jacksonville, Florida, a 17-time PGA Tour winner and the 2010 FedEx Cup champion, Jim Furyk. Ladies and gentlemen.
Doug Kidd is a fixture at the Players Championship. You can find him at the first tee, announcing the groups of golfers ready to start their rounds at TPC Sawgrass. This year, Doug Kidd wasn't sure he'd be able to do that job. His life was in limbo on a waiting list, waiting for a transplant. Action Sports Jack's Brent Martineau at TPC Sawgrass with more of the story.
Tens of thousands of people come annually to the Players Championship. So think about the random nature of walking around TPC Sawgrass watching some golf, and just one of those folks helped save your life, and you didn't even know them. And they lived almost in your own backyard. That's kind of what happened to Doug Kidd. Social media sure has its pitfalls. Then once in a while, a story like this comes along.
A friend shared a post on Facebook about a young girl who needed a kidney, and I wasn't a blood match or anything for her.
That Facebook post sparked an idea in Ginger Bracewell.
I thought, well, if somebody's asking for a kidney, what kind of situation is that like? And I've always been a compassionate person, and so I wanted to do more research on it. And I really wanted a December surgery date. I love Christmas, and so I just thought, what better Christmas present than, than to give somebody an organ, somebody who's waiting on a transplant, to get that news that, it's a Christmas miracle.
Merry Christmas, Doug Kidd.
I get a phone call the first part of December. I'm literally on the ladder putting up Christmas lights, and it was Mayo calling to say we found a donor for you.
Doug Kidd is someone you have likely seen or heard if you've been to the Players Championship at TPC Sawgrass.
From Charlotte, North Carolina, Webb Simpson.
For years, Kidd has been announcing the golfers on the first tee, and the rest of the year, he works at TPC Sawgrass.
That's close turn.
Also for years, Doug Kidd has needed a kidney.
Probably a 4-year process by getting everything settled and ready and watching the numbers gradually drop to the point where we couldn't wait anymore.
In December, two people who had never met, two people who lived just 15 miles from each other in Jacksonville, connected in a special way.
Then all of a sudden, this wonderful young lady comes in my life that I don't even know and have never thought of knowing, and changed the life.
Ginger's kidney was a match for Doug, so she did some research of her own. On social media, of course.
So when I first got Doug's information, I was in my hospital room, and the first thing I did was look him up on Facebook. And it was really great to see, his wife and his kids and all these people who are affected by the donation, and just to read about him. And so then, you start Googling and looking around, and he's just such a great guy.
At the time, we didn't know if the donor was local, and then the day before, we found out that Ginger wanted to meet us just as badly as we wanted to meet her.
Hello.
Hey, Ginger.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am fantastic.
That was like nothing else I'd ever experienced. This young lady walked into my hospital room, and she said probably one of the nicest things anybody has ever said to me. I can't think of anyone I'd rather have my kidney than you. And we just met.
It's very overwhelming. It was also exciting.
The transplant process is not easy. It's something Doug and his family dealt with for years. They found a support system on social media.
I'm getting choked up thinking about it. I have so many people in my corner. I was overwhelmed. My wife and I were both overwhelmed about the support, and the prayers, and the thoughts, and the comments that were made were just mind-boggling.
Next on the tee, our contestants playing for the walk-off charities.
I want to give back says as much about an individual, I think, as anything you can say about it. And she's a wonderful young lady. Not just a donor, she's a wonderful, wonderful young lady.
They had never met. Now they share a special connection. Lifetime friends. And yeah, friends on Facebook too. Both Doug and Ginger are doing well, and of course now they keep in touch. In fact, on Saturday at the Players Championship, Ginger was a guest of Doug's here at TPC Sawgrass. At the Players Championship, I'm Brent Martineau, Action Sports Jax.
More info on how you can be an organ donor, mayoclinic.org, search transplant donor. And tomorrow we'll visit the Mayo booth at the Stadium Village at the Players. This is a somewhat common thing Ginger did. More than 45% of the kidney transplants at Mayo do come from a living donor.